Okay, I had somebody ask me for my top 5 tips on squat and deadlift. I've already have the deadlift video, or the squat video, I'm sorry. Now, top 5 tips on a deadlift, that's a pretty vague question because there are many kinds of deadlifting. Now, know that there's hinging and there's deadlifting, and deadlifting is just a part of the hinging complex. Okay, hinging could be good mornings, it could be swings, it could be anything pushing hips back. But specifically talking about a deadlift, I'm assuming that the question, just like on the squat one, this has to do with a barbell. Okay, so I'm going to cover that, and then I'm going to cover some other things. So these are my top 5 tips when it comes to deadlifting. And again, this is general population. This isn't a person trying to lift 600 pounds. Now, I'm going to kind of sneak a few extras in there. If I just take the bar and I throw this on the ground. Now, this is 3 because it has to happen as a group of stuff. You're going to have butt down, shoulders back. That's my big one. If your butt is high and your chest is forward or your shoulders are forward, you're asking to murder your lower back. Okay? When the weight's too heavy, that's what happens, is you basically can't keep your shoulders back and your butt down and travel up like that. Now, it's okay to have hamstring tension, but here's the point. When I walk up to it, I'm going to walk up right up to the bar, okay? Get my shins touching the bar. Now I'm going to just show a conventional deadlift, arms outside the legs. My sternum goes over the bar. That's how you know you're in the right space. I'm not behind the bar or past the bar. My sternum is over the bar. Now, what did I say? I said hips down, shoulders back. The only reason why is because your hips may rise in the beginning, and that's okay. If they rise too much or there's too much extreme in any of this, you're going to go backwards. Just like if I had my butt too low and my shoulders back too far, I've lost sternum over the bar. So that's how you know you're in the right space, is your sternum is over the bar. Sternum over the bar. Shoulders back from there, butt is down. If I go any further back and down, my sternum is no longer over the bar. Does that make sense? Sternum over the bar. Some people will say chest up. It doesn't seem to work. Shoulders back seems to work better, keeping your butt down. So first thing I'm going to do, butt down, shoulders back, and then up. Okay? So that's my first tip. Shoulders back, butt down, sternum over the bar, or chest up. The next one, the first thing you should do on the way up, or right before the bar is about to leave the ground, is squeeze everything you have. Starting with your grip, okay? Your lats. Squeeze everything. Squeeze your core. Squeeze your belly button like you're trying to make it explode. Squeeze your feet. Squeeze everything you have. Brace the core, okay? Loose, sloppy core, you're gonna pick it up from your back. Now, when somebody doesn't brace their core, I generally don't hear grunting. Not that we should be like, yeah, on the way up of a deadlift. Fine if it's 600 pounds, but if I don't hear if I don't hear squeezing of the insides of your body, you're not squeezing your core. I could be here and I didn't squeeze a damn thing. I don't care if it's 65 pounds or 400 pounds. Sternum over the bar, butt down, shoulders back. Now, I'm all for noises. I own my own gym. I can make all the noises I want to. You don't have to sound like an idiot. Make a little bit of noise. Just know that if you can't hear a little bit of noise, if you don't hear the you didn't squeeze. Squeeze this so you don't murder that. Pretty simple. The next one, weight in your heels, toes gripped. Some people start with their weight in their heels. They get their butt down, sternum over the bar, shoulders back, squeeze their core. Except right when they're about to go up, because the hips shoot too high too fast, they go from the weight being in their heels and their toes gripped to the weight in their toes, and then the rest of the movement now becomes a lower back exercise. The deadlift is not a lower back exercise. The deadlift is a hip exercise. You can emphasize the lower back if you want to, but I don't see a point in that. There are times if the low back is a weak portion of the equation, I would just rather do rack pulls, that's me. Now, I'm going to grip the floor and keep my weight in my heels. If you don't grip the floor and I have my toes up, I could fall into my big toe. If my big toe is always gripped, it's basically going to stop me from doing that. Whatever you do, especially on the way down, don't take the weight out of your heels. You're basically almost trying to pull the bar backwards. Okay? There should be so much weight on the bar you don't fall backwards. But there's so much weight in your heels that that's basically what happens. Okay? So my third tip, weight in the heels, claw the floor. The next one, again, because I feel that the deadlift is not a lower back exercise. I don't use it to train my lower back. I try to make my butt bigger so my girlfriend loves my butt. That's it, that's all that matters. I'm gonna finish with the glutes, not with the back. You go to every physio, every chiro that's telling you your back hurts when you're deadlifting, you're not using your glutes. Your glutes are your biggest muscle in your body. They should be the most powerful. The reason why people use their lower back is because they come up too slow with their deadlift. Even if it's super heavy, the attempt to get up there fast will cause the fast twitch fibers of the glute to fire better. So what I'm saying, the finishing of the up, you finish with the glutes on the back. The finish of the down, you drop the last inch. And this is very important. If you want to save your lower back, this matters both ways. Here's a person who doesn't finish and they think that the deadlift is a back exercise. This is a person who's going to murder their back all the time. They finish leaning way back. Okay, all this weight is now compressing my spine. Not a good idea. I don't like hyperextension in a deadlift. If you're doing it on purpose and you know that you're doing it to train your lower back, for that reason, that's fine. If you have shitty glutes, stop doing that. If you have back pain, stop doing that. Learn to thrust. Thrust. Put your hips into the bar. As soon as they have hit the bar, that's it. Don't continue through doing that. Here's what it looks like. I usually end up with bruises on my quads if I do enough reps because I'm putting so much power in my hips and I de-emphasize the lower back. As soon as and again, this doesn't really go away from my body. It's up my legs, up my legs, up my legs. Boom! As soon as my glute has finished, that's it. No reason to do that. If your back hurts, it's because you're leaning back and you're finishing like this instead of finishing like that. And this is a glute hip exercise. Now, if you want to save your lower back on the way down, this is the other part of that. Most people have the flexibility, and I have a video called Why You Should Drop a Deadlift. You need to go watch that. Down, 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 down. I can go hips back till about 2 or 3 inches below my knee. Any more than that, it's either going to be my knees, or for most people, it's going to be their back that gives and puts it down. So the last inch or 2, drop the weight. You don't have to let it go. Don't have to smash it on the ground and get kicked out of Planet Fitness. Okay? If your gym is kicking you out for dropping it 1 inch, go get a real gym. But it's down, 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 down. Once I clear the knees, drop it. Don't let it go. Just de-emphasize or put some speed on that last finishing piece. From here, glutes finish. $65 pounds. It doesn't need to make that much noise. It does because I dropped my last inch. Again, go watch the Why You Should Drop a Deadlift. I'm showing dropping it from the top. What I'm implying is you should drop the last inch. Here's my last tip. Especially if you have back pain, guys, in this area, your SI joints, if you want to have a, lumbar spine when you're 60, you might want to chill out a little bit. Do all the kinds of deadlifts. When one starts hurting, or you run into a very serious plateau, and you've been making an earnest effort at trying to break that plateau, stop doing that variation of the deadlift for a while. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, I don't care. Switch it. go to your weakest one. Okay, so let me walk you through all the different kinds. The first one I'm going to show you is a Romanian deadlift. Now, a Romanian deadlift is the deadlift, some people call it a modified deadlift, I don't know why. A Romanian deadlift is basically the purest of hip hinge. Okay, it's butt back, butt forward. Generally speaking, in a Romanian deadlift, you end up 2 inches below the knee. Best ass hamstring builder for most women. So I'm going to walk back to the bar, very close to my body. I see a lot of people pick it up like this. Romanian deadlift. Hinge, 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 carry my hamstrings, squeeze. Finish with your glutes, not your back. Okay, not there. Dumbbell Romanian deadlift. It's no different. Sometimes dumbbells work better for people. Nothing different about it. Hinge, 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 hinge. Finish with the hips, not with the back. Okay, no different. What about a one-leg Romanian deadlift? We're gonna get weird here. If this is I'll go close hands. If this is a one-leg, or this is a two-leg Romanian deadlift, what would happen if I lifted one leg? Did anything really happen in my ground leg, as far as loading parameters go? If I go from here, in a Romanian deadlift, all I do is kick this leg up. Did anything happen here? No. Well, one leg is incredibly challenging, especially if one's hamstring is weaker than the other, where your balance sucks, or you tend to have knee pain because your knee's always caving in. You need to work that balancing stuff. Okay? So that's a one leg Romanian deadlift. The next variation would be a kettlebell sumo deadlift or a dumbbell sumo deadlift. I really hate dumbbells, but most gyms don't have heavy enough kettlebells. So you could take a 100-pound dumbbell, that kind of thing. Now, what's going to go wrong on this version is it's going to be too far away from your body. I'll tell people, put it between your feet. No, I mean like between your feet. So I'm going to take a step, and I actually tell people now to put it between their ankles, not their feet. It makes more sense to them that way. I'm going to open, big sumo, big sumo, big sumo, grab the end of it. What did I say? Finish with the hips or your glutes, not with your back. Sort of drop the last inch on this direction. Kettlebell, I have heavy enough kettlebells, I'm going to do the kettlebell instead. It's a lot easier to grab. Same rules apply. Sternum over the bar, butt down, chest up. Finish with the hips, not with your back. Okay. Trap bar deadlift. If you have a trap bar available to you, use it. Other than the safety squat, I think it's probably the single best barbell out there. Because if you're not good at hinging, or deadlifts aren't great for you, you can learn to deadlift through the squat pattern. Okay? So a trap bar, or hex bar, or a diamond bar, sometimes people call it, is a bar that you stand inside of. Some of them have high handles and low handles. The high handles are much easier because the range of motion is short. All the rules apply. Okay, now here's the thing. I could emphasize hip hinge. If I was holding a bar in front of me, that would be a Romanian deadlift. Could emphasize hinge. Could emphasize squats. If I'm better at squats, I can learn to deadlift through my squat using a trap bar. Right? It's the same motion. The only thing that's going to change is I might stick my butt out a little bit more. The trap bar is amazing. The last variation, just to show it. It's called a cable pull-through. I don't love them. They can work. If you look up cable pull-through on the internet, it's terrifying to watch because people just round their spine. So I'm actually going to take the Elite FTS cable pull-through handle. That's what it's meant for. I like to hold it this way, not the way that it's traditionally designed. I find it a little bit too big and wide for that. Now, if a deadlift is butt back, load your hamstring, load your glute, flat back, finish with your glute, a cable deadlift or a cable pull-through is no different. Where you see weird variations is people doing stuff like this, rounding their back. I mean, that's terrible. Load your hamstrings and your hips, finish with the glute. Now you can just use a handle if you want to. A rope can work. Get good at deadlift, okay? Save your lower back. Treat it as a hip exercise, not a lower back exercise. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments.